Hi everybody, my name is Luis Vargas, and in this occasion I'm going to talk about JsonP, about cross-origin requests. In this case, we are going to use this sample that is in the Angular IO page. So we're going to use the cross-origin request, and we are going to do a Wikipedia example. What are we going to do with this example? Basically, we are going to call the Wikipedia service, and we're going to fetch some data from Wikipedia, and then just list that data in a list, obviously. So to begin with, we are looking for data similar to this one. Oh no, sorry, we did this before with the heroes JSON, but in previous videos we did it in the same origin, in the same server. So what we're gonna do now, it's gonna create a JsonP. So we're gonna call an external server. So that's weird. The example is completely wrong. Okay, by the moment, since this sample is wrong, you most likely would like to see the sample in the TypeScript code, in the TypeScript version. So you're gonna see a better coding. Yes, it's more complete. However, it's in TypeScript, and we are not going to talk about TypeScript. We are going to talk about that. Create stream search thing. So basically, it's this one. I'm not sure. Yes, it's this one. So let's begin. I already have created a project, so this project is basically the initial project, with the difference that instead of calling add component, I just call it wiki component. So also the code inside is wiki component instead add component, and this is my wiki and the wiki component HTML. Running this project, it should give us it should show us the content in the wiki HTML. Let's see if that is true. Looks like I have a beautiful error. Okay, never mind. Let's see what is the error. Okay, my wiki did not match any elements. Okay, let's see. I think in the index HTML I put my app, so I should put my wiki here. Yes. So basically, this is the project, the initial project. So I'm gonna create just I'm just gonna add to this project. So let's code inside here. Before continuing, I'm just gonna create a service, because we always need a service. And in this case, the service is gonna be what happens, new that file, and it's gonna be wiki service. Let me see something before. Okay, so the service is gonna be called wiki service. Let me see. Yeah, no, it's gonna be called Wikipedia service. .dat. And what is gonna be the content of this service? Basically, this service is just gonna contain a call, a function, a method. It's gonna be a class. And this class is gonna be an injectable. Wikipedia service. So go back here, I'll enter, import the library, and we get the library. So this service is just going to contain a method called search, and this method should calls the JsonP method, or the JsonP class. So right now, this is going to return. We want to return here a future because we're gonna do an asynchronous call, which means it need to be a future. It need to be asynchronous. So this is gonna be a list of strings. And we need to import the future. I'll enter to import the library. And we also would like to make this async. Done this, we only need to do the JsonP call. So to do the JsonP call, what we need to do is just do, before doing anything, we need to create a new URI. And we're gonna say new URI. And then we're gonna pass the next parameters. The first one is gonna be the schema. It happens. This scheme. This scheme. Why is not completing this? Should I do this? I don't know why it doesn't auto-complete the scheme column, and the scheme is gonna be HTTP. Then the next one is gonna be host, and the host is gonna be n for English wikipedia.org. And we have another one that is the path, and this one is gonna contain w/api.php. So basically we are creating an URI, an URL using these parameters. So finally we need another method, another parameter, sorry, that is gonna be the query parameters. And this should be a map, and this map should contain a search term, search, and this is gonna be a term that we need to pass, and also we need an action, and the action is gonna be open search, and finally we need the format, and this is gonna specify the format that the data is going to contain, and in our case we need JSON. So we need this value term, so this term is going to be a string in here, and it's going to be term. So having done that, the only thing that we need now, I can make this one line. Okay, we need to return the result, and we need to call, before returning the result, we need to call the API. So we need to do list result equals to await JsonP URI. So if we try to import this library, by the moment we don't have this library, so we need to get this library using, and we need to put it into the PubSpec YAML, to the dependencies. So we need, I think in here is JSON. I'm gonna put JsonP colon. By the moment I'm just gonna put any. Let me see if that works. And in here we have JsonP, and we have a version. In most of the cases, it's a good idea to put the correct version or the most high version, and also put this symbol. I don't know the name. I'm just saying that I'm requiring anything after this version, and anything that is greater than this version. So I can do again get dependencies, and it's gonna not get anything because I already get it. So the next step should be go back to this service and then import the library. Let's see if I can import it. No. So to import the library, I just need to do import, and then I need to do package JSON padding. Oh, there is another one, I think. Let me see. So this library do a fetch menu, and this post menu. This is not the one that I want. In fact, the one that I want, it's called JSON padding. This is different. So let's go back here. This is the search and handlers. You can see the code on here. We could use this one, but it's not a good idea because the documentation say don't use another one. So I'm gonna use the one that is in the documentation because it's easier to me to make the tutorial. And documentation say that we should use one called JSON padding instead of this one that's called just JsonP. Then instead I'm just gonna go back to the YAML file, expect YAML, and instead of this line I'm just gonna put JSON padding, and then I'm just gonna put any, get the dependencies to get the, and in here we see that this being removed and the other one is being added. The plus sign means add and the other one means remove. So now we need to do the version 0.1.0, and again we want greater than this version, and get dependencies again. It doesn't get anything and it's okay. And now we go back to the Wikipedia service, and this now should be an error, but it's still loading. So when this happens, this is because so I should remove this line, and I should do import, and then I should do JSON padding .dar, and this is the one that I want. And now the error disappears. Now I need to return the result of this one. So in fact, it's not the result. I need to return the first value of the result. Return result first value 1. We are gonna see in the next shortly why we need to return the value 1 instead of returning the result, the full result. So let's go to the JsonP, and this just has a JsonP call, and this function or this method just create a new URI, and then most likely it should do a call to this one, and this one most likely calls the JsonP. I don't see exactly what it happens in this call. It happens, I know for sure. But okay, I don't know. Oh yeah. So in fact, we should be using this class. As remember the previous tutorial that I said that we shouldn't be using the direct method. We should use a class method so that we can implement this method and we can inject any class corresponding to this method. By the moment, I'm just gonna use this because the tutorial says to use this by the moment, but it's not a good idea. Remember that we should be using this JsonP, maybe later if we have enough time. So let's go back to the Wikipedia component, wiki component, and here I'm just gonna call the Wikipedia service. So what do I need to do to inject this? I need to do just two things. The first one is just provide. So we are into the providers, and we do providers cons, and we do Wikipedia service. Import library, and then we also need to inject it into the constructor. So to inject it into the constructor, we do Wikipedia component, and then we pass that into the constructor. I'm just gonna say this dot Wikipedia service, and I need to create this variable. So I do Alt enter, and I cannot do it without enter. So I do final Wikipedia service, and then I just do Wikipedia service. It doesn't work. And now we have injected the Wikipedia service. Something else that we need to do is create another variable that is gonna be the items that we're gonna list. So I'm just gonna say list of items, and this is gonna be equals to an array, an empty array. And then we also need to call the search. So I'm just need to say future search, and then the term is gonna be a string, and this is gonna be the term. So we need to import this library that async synchronous, and finally we need to say that the items is gonna be equals to await we forget to put this async. Now we have await, and we now need to say Wikipedia service dot search, and the term is gonna be the term passed to this function, and that's simple. Now we need to modify the Wikipedia component HTML. To do that, we only need to pass some few lambs. I'm gonna do it in the same component like in the tutorial. So I'm gonna say template, and I'm gonna say colon, and another 2 for here. And in here I'm just gonna copy that code because it's a little bit long and I don't want to do it by hand. So in the middle, I'm just gonna put this, and what I'm gonna do is just create a header with Wikipedia demo. Then I'm gonna create a paragraph in italic that says fetches after each keystroke, and we're gonna remove this later. And then we have an input text box that whenever we press the keyboard, we do a key up, it's gonna send the term, and the term value it's gonna come from this input. And this term, as you can see, is the same as this value in here, as the identifier in here. So we have another ng4 inside an unordered list, and then this is gonna just it's gonna loop into the items, and then it's gonna create one item for each loop, and then we're just gonna print the value of the item. It's simple. So let's look how it works. Stop and rerun. Let's see. Hopefully it's working, and I don't have any. And here we go. So in here we can fetch data from Wikipedia, and let's put a breakpoint to see how it's the return value. Wikipedia service, go back here, and let's put a breakpoint in here to see the result in the console. And here is the result. So what it contains, basically it contains a list of elements. I don't know if it can be appreciated. I know that if I expand this, it's not gonna be good. Let's see. Okay, here is the content. They modified this, that's good. So the field value is AB, that I imagine is the value that I send, and then we have the value of array 10, which contains the values of the response, and we have another array 10, and this is, I think, the description of every value. I don't know exactly what it does. And finally we have another array with 10 values again, and it contains all the URLs. So most likely we could create an URL from this, a map, an object from this, but by the moment the tutorial doesn't say to do that. So basically that's it. And then we have now a beam, and then we have the values. I think those are the titles, and the others are the description, and finally the URLs. So we could map that if we want, but I think it's not good. Not sure. So okay, let's go back, and I want to show you something else in here. If you type something, every time that you do a key press, it's done a new request. So if you see in here, a request has been done, and if I do something fast, I'm gonna delete the last 8, and I'm gonna add it again. So, and as you can see, 2 requests were done. So we can see this better into the console, into the network. So let's just clear by now. So I'm just gonna clear and type again. Where are the results? Oh, all. So here it is. So you see for request, the most important are those 2, the one that contains value, and this is not good, because if we send data or we request data every time that we type, it's not a good idea, because we are wasting memory and wasting resources, wasting whatever you want. So the best one is that we create something called at the bounds. So every time that we type, it waits after we let typing maybe for 1 second or 500 milliseconds. We don't type for, if we don't type for that amount of time, we do a request. So how do we do that? We could create a function, and we could create a timer, and we could create that by hand, but that's a little bit long and also not a good idea. Instead, we are gonna use something called string. So what it is, and we're gonna use a special string that Angular has. So that string is the event emitter. So I'm just gonna create an event emitter. I don't know if I'm pronouncing okay. And that event emitter is just gonna contain a string. So it's gonna be this final event emitter, and this is gonna be the searching string, and then this event emitter. If you go to the code, the event emitter source code, you see that this one just it's just an extension of the string. It's a special string from Angular, but it's just an extension of a string. I think in the future, no, never mind. I'm going to explain that later. So what we're going to do now, we want to do something that every time that we do a term, we want to do, instead of this, we want to do search term string dot add, or we can also do emit. I most of the time prefer do emit because it has more sense to me, because emit means I'm emitting something, and it's also an event emitter like it says, but the correct name is add. I don't know if it's a good idea or not using add, but it's up to you if you want to use add or emit. Both of them do the same. In fact, if you go to the add method, I think, and just call the controller add, and the emit method also do the same, controller add. You see, both of them just do the same. So we are gonna do add, and we're gonna do the term. So what we are doing is just saying every time that is a type, it's done a type, it's gonna do a key press. We need to delete this line. Every time that is done a key press, what we're gonna do is just adding a new string value. So the controller is gonna receive that value and listen for that value. But that doesn't, if we just run this project right now, it's not gonna do anything. So let me see. Oh yeah. So let's do something, and if I type, it's not happening anything because it's just emitting the values, but it's not responding to these values. It's not listening for those values. So do we need to create a listener? Kind of. We're not gonna create a listener. We're gonna create a string transformer. I think that's the correct name, and that string transformer is gonna be in here, in the constructor, and it's gonna contain something simple. We're gonna say search term, and we're gonna say, I'm gonna put it next line, dot transform. The first transformation is gonna be a debouncer. So the first is gonna be new debounce, and we don't have this class, and we need to import it. Oh, damn it. Did I write it correctly? Debounce. I think that I need another library, and that library it's called string transformers. Yes, I need that library. So I need to go back to the pop spec channel. Oops. And in here I need to add the library. Again, we just do the string transformer any, and then get dependencies. This is most of the time gets the latest. Not always happens. If it doesn't get the latest, you should go and look for the latest. So I'm just gonna say anything bigger than this. I don't need the last value, in fact, because most of the time that plus just mean a typo or something in the documentation. So I'm just gonna keep it that. So basically it's just that. And there's another library that does that for us, but I don't know exactly how to use it. I know that it's called den or something, or din, and it's just din install, similar to npm install, and it's gonna do this line for us, but it's not too much work. I mean, if you can want to use it, let's just use it. It's called library. So we were in the wiki component. No, we don't need this file anymore. I'm just gonna delete this file. So going back, we need the debounce, and we need to import this library, and we don't have the import already, so because I don't know why import, and we need to do an string transformer. Need this one. I don't know what this happens. So now we have a debounce, and we have a different error now. So we need a new duration. It could be new, it could be constant, I think. Let's use a constant duration. And we're gonna use a milliseconds, 300 milliseconds. Okay. So this is just doing, it's transforming the request, the string. So every time that a new event is emitted in here, this is gonna listen this event, and it's gonna be transformed. So it's gonna be listening only after 300 milliseconds if so what else do we need? We need to say that only distinct events are gonna be listened. If the event is distinct, it's gonna skip the transform. If the event is not distinct, if the event is equal, it's gonna wait for the 300 seconds. So what else do we need to do? We need to do another transform, and this transform is gonna contain new flat map, and we're gonna use the latest. So basically we're gonna use only the latest value from the string. We're not gonna use the previous value, we're gonna use the latest. And inside this one we need to do a lambda term such as Wikipedia service, and here is where we do the actual search for the term. So something interesting happens here. I'm gonna put this in the next line. Something interesting happens here. This search by default returns a future, and any future could be converted into a string. So to a string, to as string. This way we convert the future into a string. And finally we need something else. So for each value, gonna put for each value we need to do data, and then this for each value that is being returned from this string we need to do for each items, okay, items equals to data. So basically what we are saying here is, I think that I can put this into the same line. No, it doesn't. I just don't like. So basically what we are saying is that every time that we do a key press, it's gonna be emitted an event, and only the events that have happened and has been different and has happened after 300 milliseconds, we're gonna take the latest and we are gonna do a search, and this search we need to convert it into a string, and this string is gonna be put it into the list of items. It's kind of difficult, but if we do this manually without those functions, predetermined function, pre-created functions, will take us maybe much more lines of codes, and I think this is cool. So let's see how it works now. Let's go to debug, stop and run, and let's see if it works. So if I do AA, it only should do one search. Okay, that's okay. So let's see that in action into the network, and the console. So what about if I remove the first one, the last 8, and type it again? It didn't do any new request. If I just remove, wait, and then type, it does a new request. But if I do it faster, it doesn't do the new request, as you can see here, and it is working perfectly. Okay, we just have forgot something, and is that the sample that the page uses is that the Wikipedia service uses directly the JsonP function, and this function using it directly, it's okay, but it's not a good idea because we cannot mock this function. We cannot just create another function, that a fake function that does the same. Maybe we could, but it's gonna be complicated. We're gonna get too many complications just for doing something that Angular supports natively. I don't like to do this in here, so the best way should be using an injector. Should be inject this class, and then do the Wikipedia service. Then we need to inject the JsonP, and then just do JsonP, and then we just inject it here. In fact, we need to create a private variable, so we need to do this dot and this as a final, and then here JsonP, and finally we need to do this JsonP, and instead of just calling this JsonP method function, we're gonna do JsonP period, and then we need to do get, and anything else gets the same, stays the same. So we also need to do what else? Okay, so going back to this JsonP, we see this class, and we see that this class is an abstract class. Not an abstract class, it's just a class that just calls this JsonP function. So if you want you call also use this JsonP call, but also it's not a good idea, at least to me. I think that they did this because they have a reason for doing this. Maybe they could rewrite the library, but I think this is gonna be maintained. JSON and get, it's gonna be the one that we need. So let's go here, URI call on value on error cleanup create URI. Basically this is the one that is in charge of doing the call, and the other one is the one that is in charge of being the abstract class or the API class. So it just contains those two methods, those two classes, files, sorry. Okay, so now we did inject. What else do we need to do? If we run this, by the moment, it's gonna fail, for sure. And an error have occurred in file ngFactory Dart. And if we go to the observe, most likely it shows us the error. So error, I think it's not the error. I think this is the error. So Wikipedia survey from metadata map. So here it is. Missing identifier JsonP. What happens? So this JsonP, we go to the class, doesn't have the annotation add injectable. So we need to do a way to inject this value. And as before, the simple way is just adding into the PubSpec YAML. So how do we do that adding? We go to the PubSpec YAML and then add that value. Let me see. And we use the resolve identifiers. So we go here, and after entry points, we can add a resolve identifier. Oh, we don't need this line. And then we need to the name of the identifier. In this case, it's gonna be JsonP. And then we need the location of this, or the identifier is gonna be package colon, and it's gonna be in fact it's gonna be the package. So go back here, I'm just gonna copy this is gonna be the location, and go here and put here. So basically we're telling Dart or Angular Dart that whenever they look for this class, they should look it into this package. So this should work now. Let's stop everything and see if it's work. In fact, it's not gonna work because we haven't provided yet. So still it doesn't work, but the other error just disappears. Let me see. No, we don't have still JsonP needed by Wikipedia service. So I think that I need to do again. Alright, so in the wiki component, I need to provide that value. So I just need to provide the JsonP. So I just need to do JsonP. Let's see if it works. why it doesn't import library. So okay, I think I put the name wrong. Yes, I put JsonP with uppercase the P. Okay, now it should work and the error should be different. Let's stop everything here. Clear. By the way, this is the pub/sub errors that occurs whenever there are errors whenever a transformer fails, and in here only in runtime errors. So this one are pre-compilation errors and this one are runtime errors. So debugging again. Let's see if now it works. Now it looks it's working, and it says we have an error, no provider for JsonP. And if you remember in the previous video, we solved this just doing the, instead of doing this provider directly, which will do const provider, sorry, JsonP and comma use class JsonP, and this should solve our problem. Hopefully it gets solved. Oh, damn it. Just okay. Now let's see now if it works. And now it looks working. So let's see. And it works. Perfect. So now I hope you like this video. Don't forget to comment, don't forget to make question, don't forget to share the video. Thank you.